guys, welcome to the Curious Cat Podcast, episode 1.
And we are your hosts for this episode. My name is Tatiana.
And I'm Vinda.
And well, today's episode is going to be all about cat adoptions, what goes into them, what is this whole momentum behind the Adopt Don't Shop, and that's Bambi who has left the chat. And to help us draw some more attention and shed some light upon this particular topic, we are going to get in a professional to really help us understand the importance behind this topic.
And along with all of this information, we're also going to share some anecdotes about cats that have been sent in by our followers on Instagram. And along with that, we're also going to read out some comments on the blog posts that have been really well received. Thank you, guys. So let me start off by putting it out there. The cats are way more likable than they seem to be. And I'll tell you why. They're independent. They just do their own stuff. They let you be. They don't come and ask for cuddles the whole time. It's probably maybe 20 minutes in the day where they feel like, okay, I could do with some attention. So they'll walk across your keyboard, they'll sit on your laptop, or they'll not let you work basically. But other than that, they almost spend 1/3 of their lives cleaning themselves. So they're really clean as well. The other 1/3 they spend sleeping, as you can see on this really cool t-shirt by Curious Cat Company. Amazing merchandise, guys, for cats. It says, I need my 20 hours of nap. Also, they, for 20 minutes of the day, apart from the 30 minutes of cuddling, for 20 minutes of the day, they'll be zooming around the room, and it's literally called the zoomies. They'll zoom around the room like Taz from Looney Tunes, wreaking havoc, destroying everything in their path for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
And you can't explain
Very
it.
true. But
the most important reason why I like cats is that they poop in a box full of sand and nowhere else. They won't poop on your bed. They won't poop in a corner. They'll go to the box and poop right there like clean little angels. And they do this right since they're born. Even human babies don't do that. How cool is that? I love them.
Yeah, cats are like the entire package. Well, I've always been a cat lover, first of all. I don't remember not having a cat. And like you said, it's like, they just come trained knowing everything. There is nothing a cat doesn't know. And they're their own personality, okay? First of all, they have attitude which no one can duplicate at all. And that comes from a person who is a fellow Leo. Heck yeah, they've got like such a lot of sass in them. I don't think the world can contain it. And that's like a cat is a cat. And being a Leo, I can totally relate to their attitude.
You were born on 8th of August, which is International Cat Day. Yeah. So you're a cat.
I'm a proper cat woman. There's like nobody who can like debate that. I'm a proper cat woman because I love cats. I love anything cats. That's why I live long and will prosper, honey.
Hey, that's a hoodie from Curious Cat Company too, isn't it?
Of course. Promotion. But yes, I mean, I genuinely love them. Yeah, I really. And there is nothing that a cat cannot teach you. There is nothing a cat cannot teach you, in my opinion.
So we, in fact, did a whole blog post on life lessons we learned from cats, which was really well received. And we got a bunch of comments, like some 150 comments on the blog post, which is on our Instagram feed as well as on our website. So we can actually read out some of these comments of what other people have learned from their cats as well. You want to read the first one?
Yeah, sure. So _ Naina Kumar says that being a cat parent since more than 2 years has taught me a lot. My kids, Misty, who's a white cat, and Panther, who's a black cat, changed my world when I rescued them and brought them home. Best thing they taught me was self-care, to understand myself more, know what you want, don't react always, be silent and observe. They are my lucky charm.
Aww.
So cute.
The second one is from Holographic Cats.
Funky name.
Yeah, okay, so he or she says that my cats are my world. I am a cat. But one of the very first things I learned as a human inhabiting their space is the strategic placement of string lights. Don't we all learn that?
Of course, you can't just be like, oh my god, cuddly wuddly, I'm gonna hug you and kiss you. They're just gonna be like, wow. And so ARVG says that I learned that everyone has their own take on love and affection. I should respect their boundaries and love them with no strings attached.
Unless they're, string lights you put up on your Christmas tree or something. That's gonna come right down.
Yeah, there's one more.
Urmika0103 says, petting a cat takes away all my stress and anxiety. Unless you feel like they're gonna slap you. That's something I've experienced. But yeah, she says that psychologists should start recommending it. Absolutely true. I think cats have this sort of zen mode on at all times, and their purring is so soothing to you, and it just sort
Very.
of calms you down. Like, you learn a lot of things from cats, yes, but they have this healing presence, and yeah, you just feel very placed and sorted when a cat is around you.
I'm really happy to read these comments that people have sent in from things that they have learned from cats. So, well, in each episode, everybody, we are going to be covering up a few facts and things like this, like a little bit of trivia and a few known facts. And feel free to leave your comments down below in the comment section. If you've learned something or if you know something that we are not aware of, we will include it in our next video.
But in this episode, we're going to just tell you guys some news from the cat world. And the latest bit is that our friendly strays from your alleys and neighborhood now have officially been recognized as a breed by the Feline Club of India. And they've been classified as Indie Mau. How cute is that? So it's not
Wow.
a random stray breed, it's Indie Mau.
So I think enough of us and our cats.
Yeah.
We better get in our guest whose name is Ajay Arjun. You can always ask him later on why he has two names. That's like a big question as to why the man has two names.
The
But
first
yeah,
name.
let's get our guest in and let him
So just
introduce
to
himself.
give a
And
quick background of Ajay before he comes in, he has been a crazy cat person since childhood, and he knows a great deal about cats, their behavior, because he's spent a great deal of time working with and volunteering with animal welfare organizations. He currently works with this organization called Kupa, Compassion Unlimited Plus Action, which has been doing animal welfare work for the past 30 years out of Bangalore. Ajay specifically runs one of the biggest stray cat sterilization drives in India. And apart from that, he also heads administration and projects at Coupa. So we're just gonna get Ajay to be a part of of our conversation right now. Hey Ajay, thanks for
Hi.
agreeing to do this Curious Cat podcast. I think you're gonna, draw in many more people just because you came in. Otherwise, nobody would have watched us. So thank you.
You're most welcome. I'm happy to share all information about cats, and I'm happy and excited for this discussion.
Yeah, you can show a little more enthusiasm than that.
yeah.
Yay.
All crazy cat people on this podcast happening over here with special guest Snoopy sleeping down here. So yeah.
Damn it, she's sleeping. Otherwise, I
I,
would have told you to
I
show.
think it was a cat moment. Like every
Who
time
said?
a cat, like they don't to see exactly see what I was talking
Like bye bye. So I mean, like, but yeah, like Binda said, thank you so much because this is a topic a lot of people do want to know about, like adoptions and things like that. And I'm very sure that you will help clear out a lot of doubts and things like that as to what goes into this, having been doing this. So we really want to know that what do you like about cats? Like, what's so great about them that you began to like them, or how long have you liked cats? That's like one thing that we
Your
don't
cat
really want to
experience,
know.
your first cat love.
So,
So,
you want to know how I got into this whole cat welfare and adoptions
No,
and
no.
stuff
Before
like
that,
that.
I want you to tell
So,
us, why do you like cats?
oh, okay. I like cats because number one, they are very interesting animals because they don't have a set pattern of behavior.
Found a stick on the ground, and now I'm gonna use it. All this power that I found, gonna totally abuse it. I hit so much stuff, do not get into my way, because I found a stick.
They're very curious animals, and they're also very playful when they are in a mood, and they're also very moody. So I really like that about them, and I also like the
You
fact
like
that
Moody?
yes, I love moody because I am moody.
Oh my
So
god,
every
you're
time,
gonna be you're a real girl's man, aren't you? Like, women must be
so
falling all over you.
every time like my cats come near me, I'm like, just stay away from me. Just like don't come near me. So I am the cat in my relationship, in our three-way relationship, because they're always like constantly like coming for cuddles and all of that. Every time I sit down, they just like wait for me to sit down, and I just cannot like handle it because after a long day of work, when like I only hear the word cat, then you have like another two cats coming and sitting near your face. I don't like that. So I'm just like, please stay away from me for now. I'll get you
Okay, I
later.
want everybody to note how he has mentioned that he cannot deal with how much love and affection his cats need. This is
Yes,
incredible. People generally think cats don't want love, but here you
I
go.
know.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I just have to call. I just have to call him, and he'd be like, "Oh my God, Ajay is calling me. I'm gonna come right now and sit on his lap and never leave his lap." So he's just sitting there now.
But also, I want this cat. I want. Send the cat. We can do an exchange.
I'll
I don't know if
courier.
you saw. Please do, but I don't know if you saw. My cat slapped me last time I was trying to kiss her.
Yes, I did. That is so funny.
I have a feeling she's gonna slap me. If you don't like the fact that your cats need cuddles from you, why do you like them?
I cuddle them whenever I want, and I also
He is
You're
the
such a cat.
cat. He is the cat. He is the cat. They are not the cat. He is the cat. They are the human in the
yeah,
cat.
because see, when I first adopted cats, I wanted my space. So, but these guys just like flipped it around completely. They've converted a lot of cat haters into cat lovers, and like people are so scared of cats. They think cats are like horrible animals until they've met mine. I can't like speak for all cats of the world, but I
Yeah.
can speak for mine. So, uh, whoever has come home and whoever has like completely hated cats are like completely in love with cats, and even including my mother. Now everybody, like a lot of people have adopted cats after coming home.
So like their
That's a good thing.
spokesperson.
That's a very positive thing actually, because like you said, a lot of people have wrong ideas about like cats and the mentality. But that's a really good takeaway there.
We should
That
actually
like
get his cats
because
as
of
guest speakers on our podcast once to, sort of help other cats understand how to deal with humans and just like personality development and stuff.
And the worst part of them,
it would be
worst
fun.
part about my cats are like they're extremely manipulative and they do things to annoy me. And then when I get annoyed, that's what they want. They want that reaction. So like they will come outside when I'm sleeping and they'll start making these weird sounds, or they'll start moving the door stopper. And my other one knows how to open door handles. So like
Wow.
uh, I have two
Oh,
flatmates. So
talent.
like one day she jumped and she tried to kept. I mean, she kept trying to open the handle, and then in the morning he comes and asks me, "Dude, somebody tried to open my room." And then I said, "That's my cat." Sorry.
Borderline crazy. I think with cats, like you said, it is
You
moody.
can't
They
make the
don't know
rules
keys.
basically with a cat.
You can't
You gotta
make the
just play by
rules.
theirs. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I also adopted a cat for a very important reason is because the time that I spend at home is not as much. I mean, if I love dogs as well, so if I were to adopt a dog, I can't leave the dog alone at home for long periods of time. So I think with cats you can do that. I don't need to take them for a walk. I can just like
Yeah.
increase the number of litter boxes in the
Very
house so
true.
that they can have like these pooping spots, and Yeah, and maybe like modify my home internally to make it like interesting for them, rather than like taking them out for like, for a walk and, for exercise and all of that. And I think that that kind of commitment was not, I knew that I couldn't give that kind of commitment, so I thought, a cat would be the best pet, especially in like places like living in an apartment and all of
Yeah.
that. No matter what the size, you can still live with a cat. You can modify your space for the cat. So
And it doesn't mean that they don't need the care or affection. It's just that, they can do a lot of it themselves. And then for the rest of it, we're there. It's just not as much as dogs, right?
yeah, and cats sleep 18 hours, close to 18 hours a day.
I know.
So
It's perfect.
you can create a routine for them so that they can
Okay, I'm just going to do a promotion. I need my 20-hour nap by Curious Cat Company. Thanks.
yeah, exactly. So you can you can create a schedule for them which is convenient for you. And I think that is really nice, because like say you come back from work at 6 in the evening, and then you can start that routine from 6 in the evening, and your cat would have been sleeping till then. So
Very true.
Has no clue you
Very
were
true.
not there to save him or her from anything that would have happened. So you like cats because they're fun, they're unpredictable, their behavior is uncertain. They don't need as much. They don't make as much of a fuss in terms of the amount of care they need. They're really clean, like you said. They sleep for most part of the day, which is perfect.
How did you get into working for animal welfare and adoptions and things like that? Like, what pushed you? What catapulted you into this?
So I was always drawn towards animal welfare as a child. But like a typical Indian family, when you are growing up, you're uh, directed towards a certain field of studies to make sure that your future is set. So my family didn't do that as much, but then you hear that happening all around you with so many other people. So then you start getting confused. Should I do this? Should I not do this? So um, I did a lot of. I come from a startup corporate background. My initial years were in startups, but on the side, I always like volunteered for small animal welfare groups or animal welfare organizations. And while growing up, I don't know, like I read a lot of books about animals and cats, especially. And then I started volunteering when I lived in Delhi. I started volunteering for this group that helped people get their cats spayed for a low cost, because cat surgeries are quite expensive in private hospitals, private veterinary hospitals. It costs between 5,000 to 10,000 to spay one cat. And people had like 10 cats they were feeding, and they wanted like a subsidized cost, because
Yeah.
it works out to be expensive if you start paying that rate. So spay and neuter was the first voluntary official position that I had in Delhi, with a nice group of volunteers that I worked with for close to over a year. And at the same time, I started fostering kittens. It was very difficult with my cats, so I haven't fostered very many kittens, but the few that I've fostered have found really nice homes. Um, and of course, as a child, I fostered multiple animals, like not during my voluntary days, but as a kid, I fostered like many animals, including cats, small birds, squirrels, and all of that.
Which is
So
the weirdest animal you've fostered so far? Like the most uncommon?
it's funny, like when I studied in boarding school, I wouldn't call it foster. I had a box of spiders. So they made little webs in that box, and I used to
Of
like catch
course.
them. I, I
They
used to
didn't make
catch.
them for you, Ajay. They just made it.
Yeah, they made it, and then they started having babies, and then there were like multiple spiders, and then like my my warden found it while I was studying. I was like looking at something else, and then he just came and saw that I had like a whole box of spiders with babies, and like I was putting insects in it, and then he just took the whole box
Where did you find the
from me.
insects?
What, the insects? You just like find them all around the dormitory in the side, and also you just put them in a box. Yeah, I did a lot of crazy things as
He
a
was
kid.
like the dormitory pest control for a good cause.
Yeah,
Hey, that's a nice
probably.
one. Okay, tell
That's
me,
a really
did
good
you
one.
name your spiders?
I
Oh.
did name my spider until they became spiders. So like it became like more than 100 spiders in that box. So
Whoa! They
yeah,
need to be neutered.
yeah, but I wish I knew how to do it.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
okay. So you were saying that you fostered many animals over the years,
Yes,
and
I
yeah.
fostered many animals over the years, and then I wanted to start my own animal welfare organization, only for cats. Okay,
Thank you for
so
clarifying.
and
I was gonna ask you, does it include
yes, only
spiders?
only focused on cats and cat welfare, and then I came to Bangalore, and I started volunteering for CUPA, and I did my first stint of cat sterilization for a club, Indranagar club, and we did a few cats over there, and then I don't know, I just joined CUPA, and then I started the cat sterilization program for CUPA, and I
And now you're heading
also
it.
I'm heading CSR projects and administration and cat welfare projects for CUPA.
So tell me, why does this problem exist where there are so many animals, especially cats, out there on the streets, and why do they need our help? I mean, they're perfectly capable of taking care of themselves. So why is it so important for organizations to be involved and for us as people to be alert and actually go out there and help them and adopt them as well?
So that's a good question. There are many, I would say, there's no specific answer to this question, but I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. So I'll give it to you in situations. So situation one, I move into a gated colony and I adopt a cat, but I do not live in India. I'm not from India. I adopt a couple of cats, and then after my tenure ends, maybe after a year and a half, I leave my cat behind in the community and I go back to my country. But I do not spay or neuter the cat. So what happens? That's the problem.
Procreation. Yeah.
Yes, proliferation of cats happens because number one, the cats are quite healthy. Number two, the cats find somebody else to feed them, and number two, one, after the first batch of kittens are born, and after people find kittens really cute. I don't deny that kittens are really cute. People say, oh my god, the kittens are so cute, and then first batch is born, then second batch is born, then third batch is born, and then after the fourth or fifth batch they're like, oh my god, this has to stop, because the cats that were very cute kittens grow up and they start fighting with each other. They start um, uh, competing for resources within that gated community, and it disrupts the peace in that community. So that is how one scenario of population outbursts happen. The other scenario is that there is always going to be a population of stray cats, irrespective. I'm saying this because sometimes people say, oh my god, how come you're doing such an immoral thing, how can you catch and spay or neuter a cat? It's against nature. Well, building houses is against nature. Building houses and building colonies and colonizing like the whole space, cutting down trees to widen up your roads and build flyovers. I don't see anything natural in that. So uh, in a situation that we have built around us, I think the least that we can do is reduce the pain of these animals, because the whole process of mating and giving birth is extremely painful. People think it's pleasurable for animals, but it's a very painful process. and the male cats harass the female cats constantly, and then after they mate, then they have to go through that whole kitten cycle, and then you can see, like, once the cat keeps giving birth, the cat loses out on a lot of in terms of body weight and all of that, because the whole body is just worn out. But when you see a healthy neutered cat, or I would say when you see a neutered cat, you'll notice that eventually the cat starts putting on weight, and the cat
Yes.
doesn't have to go through that whole process. And you don't and and you do not need and you do not need and no matter what you do, no matter how many cats you spay and neuter, it is not possible to neuter every single cat uh, there is around us. So neutering at least like a certain population will at least help control that population, and also help keep that population healthy, because we also see people coming forward and complaining, saying that kittens are always dying. And when a population increases beyond a certain limit, say like over 30 cats, or you can even say over 20 cats, inbreeding starts to happen. And when inbreeding happens, then the gene pool starts to weaken. And once the gene pool starts to weaken, then you'll see like dead cats everywhere due to viral outbreaks and
Yes.
disease outbreaks and all sorts of things. So we had one such community uh, where they used to find like dead cats all the time in drains, in car engines. The kittens tend to go and hide inside car engines, and when you start the car engine, the kitten just doesn't realize and just gets burnt inside. So these are all situations that we see which can be avoided when you neuter or spay your community cat, and that is so important. And as a cat feeder, I think feeding is a great thing that you're doing, but please take that extra step to get them neutered, because you will still do them a great favor for the next 12 to 15 years of their life. So I think that is something that everybody should know, that feeding an animal is absolutely fine, but making sure that that animal is vaccinated, at least for their rabies shots, basic rabies shots.
Hmm.
Rabies shots are available in any veterinary clinic.
So now, when you go forward for an adoption, I want to know, like, what do you look for in an adopter? I'll throw in three scenarios. One is where the person does not have a cat. One is where they already have a cat and they are looking for a companion for that particular creature. The third is where they have a cat and a dog and they still want another one. So,
Yeah.
how do you deal with all these three scenarios?
So I would say that the last two situations that you mentioned out of the three are much easier to assess, because if somebody has already had a cat, or somebody has a cat and a dog, that person would have in-depth knowledge on looking after a cat. So it makes my work easier as an adoption counselor to assess whether that person is fit to have the animal or not. Number one, the first thing I look for is whether their cats are spayed or neutered. Okay, because if their cats are not spayed or neutered, um, then they do not get another cat for adoption. And if they are willing to get their cats neutered, and if they were going to get their cats neutered eventually, I would wait for them to first do that, and then come and adopt this particular cat. And I also, number two, see whether they are completely kept indoors or they are indoor outdoor cats, and based on the situation, I would give the cat up for adoption. Indoor outdoor is a nice situation, but then you'll have to have like a compound and all of that, so that the cat doesn't endanger itself outside. So an indoor outdoor situation is a very debatable topic, so I'm not going to go too much into that, but I'm going to go into whether the person has knowledge about prior knowledge about looking after cats. And especially if they live on like the 10th floor or 12th floor of the building, they're supposed to make sure that all their balconies and windows are cat proof. And when I say cat proof, you ensure that like your doors and windows have nets on them, and so that people think, oh, cats are really good at climbing and all, but like any animal or any living being, they can make a mistake. So when they jump on a railing, for example, they can just slip and fall. And we have seen so many instances of cats falling off balconies or cats falling off buildings and all of that. So if you can avoid that from the beginning, then I think that's the way to go when you're adopting a pet, because you're supposed to think of all the safety measures. Uh, and apart from that, what kind of food you're feeding the animal. For example, like if you're a vegetarian household, will you impose your vegetarianism to the cat, because cats are pure carnivores, and from the shape of their teeth you find out that they are built to eat meat. So if you're a vegetarian and say that, hey, I can't, or a vegan, say, hey, I cannot give my cats meat or a meat based diet, then you do not deserve to adopt a cat, because you cannot impose your food habits to any animal. And another thing that I look for is whether you're financially uh, you have financial resources available to look after a cat, because it's a long term commitment. So we ask questions like, what are you going to do when you move abroad, or what are you going to do if it's a college kid, what are you going to do when you move to college? And these answers, I have nothing against like young people adopting animals, as long as they make sure that the animal is taken care of for its full lifetime. And if you give me a convincing answer, then yes, you can adopt a cat. So these are the situations with the people who have already had cats or have a cat and a dog. Um, and cat and a dog, again, like it depends whether the new cat gets adjusted to both the cat and a dog, and the cat and the dog gets adjusted to the new cat. So it's basically like a very it's a whole process that you follow. And if it works out, it works out. Otherwise, then another cat is introduced to that particular home. Okay, and in the situation that you mentioned, where somebody has never had a cat before, I would say that's a more tedious process for us, because we have to first get them to understand cat behavior, uh, get them to understand the needs of a cat, get them to understand the diet of a cat, and the routine of a cat, and whether they want to adopt a kitten, which is hard work. I adopted both my cats at 14 months because I didn't want to deal with kittens. So kittens are like a lot more work than adult cats. People think that adopting adult cats would not, I mean, they wouldn't adjust properly, but like adopting any animal, animals adjust much more beautifully than human beings, as long as they are given like a lot of love.
I think the most important question here is, what do you think? What is your opinion on adoptions? Why is the movement of adopt, don't shop gaining momentum? And why is it so important for us, people who want to have a pet? Why should we adopt a stray cat or from a shelter instead of, say, approaching an ethical breeder?
Um, so I'm going to give my personal view about this. So I think you can find like hundreds and hundreds of animals in various shelters that are looking for homes. So why would you want to go to a space that is creating more animals, and those animals like eventually like end up on the streets because the person is not able to um, deal with them at some point. And breeders are not going to take the animal back unless like it's going to benefit them monetarily. And so why would you want to go somewhere and buy an animal and put like a price tag on an animal and say that, hey, I'm going to buy this animal for X amount, where you can go and do something really nice and adopt an animal from a shelter that would love to, live in a space that gives them a lot of love and a home to live in, and also like nutritious food, um, and individual attention. and I think that for me kind of is a much better option for people to choose when it comes to deciding to keep a pet. So you'd rather go to a shelter and give like a homeless animal, um, I mean, give an animal a home rather than going and buying from a breeder. I don't know, like the whole ethical breeding doesn't sit well with me in my head. So um, it is a very debatable topic, but this is my personal view.
So we have got a few messages. We had put on a post on our Instagram asking our followers to send us their furry anecdotes. And we've got a couple of them to read out. But before we jump into that, do you have like a fun story that you would like to tell us?
So Ajay, do
Yeah.
you have a funny furry anecdote?
Yes. So one morning I woke up and I was really sleepy, and the first thing that you do is you go to the loo, right? So I woke up really sleepy and I went to the loo, and then I got a shock because my cat was using the loo.
What? You mean on the
Oh my
commode?
god, that is
Yeah, on the commode, like he was peeing, and then like he just like got down and he walked away. So I was a little shocked because he's never done that. He always uses the litter box. So I think seen me enough to actually
Wow.
imitate that, and he just got onto the commode, and he does it even now. Like he goes into my flatmate's loo and does it, and then he's like, dude, somebody's used my loo, and I'm like, it's my cat.
Oh my
that's a
god.
really good one.
Okay,
That
so
is
what we're gonna do is we're gonna say thank you to you, and also if all you guys watching this or listening to it want to connect with Ajay and ask him more questions about adoptions, neutering, programs he's involved with in Kupa, you can reach out to him via Instagram at Ajay Arjun, and you can find it in the notes in the section below in the description of our video or podcast. So that's it. Thank you, Ajay. Thank you so much for doing this. I hope you had a good time.
Yes, thanks for having me, and I'm happy that I saw your Curious Cat company page grow from like a few hundred followers, and now I think it's touched 2,000. So
Yeah.
I
listen high five, people. Listen high five.
Thank you. And yeah, and then
Hey,
maybe if we do more episodes in the future, we can have you back as a guest, and I hope you agree. So
yes,
yeah,
definitely.
cool, great. Thank you.
oh
And
yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
bye, bye,
thanks
Ajay.
so much, Ajay.
Thanks for having me.
Bye,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
So it's time for reading out some furry or furry. What do we call them? Furry anecdotes. That's Tatiana's idea, by the way, calling them
Perfect furry anecdote.
furry,
Perfect,
furry anecdote.
perfect furry anecdote.
Okay. That our
Kind of like a tongue
followers on
twister.
Instagram have sent us over the weekend. And I'm going to read out the first one, which is from Shifa. And she is the mother of Oscar, the bull cat, and he's quite a star on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. So uh, she starts off, in fact, she started off typing with the sentence that, she was very sure she was going to end up crying at the end of
Oh
it.
my.
uh, okay, so Shifa says that 2 years ago, she flew down from Dubai to Mumbai because she wanted to set up her business here. Back in Dubai, my house was an urban jungle where I was living with a cat, 14 rabbits, a hamster, and hundreds of plants. But my health took a toll on me, and I had to leave everything and come back to Bombay. That's when my father gifted me a 3-month-old British American short hair cat with a flat face and big round eyes full of curiosity. I named him Oscar. Being a botanist and working with plants, the very first challenge was to make him comfortable around plants. He loves me to the core, and we both can't imagine life without each other. And trust me, nobody can love you the way a 4-legged fur ball can. I agree. Oscar loves bird
I do.
watching
Me too.
and he loves his sunglasses. I've seen so many photos of Oscar wearing these fancy sunglasses. Very, very
Oh
cute.
yeah, me too. It's
Yeah.
like amazing. Like, how does this cat wear sunglasses?
None of my
That's
cats tried
amazing.
that with my cats. They just snapped back at me and threw the sunglasses 5 feet away.
And my glasses broke. R.I.P. Ray-Bans.
So Shifa continues saying that having Oski in my life has helped me deal with anxiety issues and has kept me sane during the pandemic. He's the one who fuels me up to keep moving forward and understand the fact that it's okay to not be okay at times. And this is how you roll on with life. We are both super inspired by Suki the cat and wish to travel the world and explore. Basically, Oscar is the cat boss teaching me the best in life. He's also taught me to never settle for less. Don't like the cat bed, don't use it. Don't like the food, don't eat it. Eventually, you will get what you want. End of story. Okay, that's most cats. They're a little bit of a, brat when it comes to it. So that
Oh
was first lady
god.
by Shifa.
We have another one. It's a very short, cute one, and I will do my best to insert the visual here of what this shared with us. This follower of ours shared. She says that her cat used to love holding her hand when he napped, but his paw was so small that when he tried to curl it around her finger, it would barely hold on. So instead, he'd hand me his paw so I could hold it.
Oh, that's
That
so
is,
cute.
thank you so much, guys, for sending in these anecdotes. We really urge you to send in more. Any funny story that you may have had, your cat bringing in a lizard in the house, or some funny thing that may have happened to you, which freaked you out, made you laugh. Please share it with us. We would love to read it out and build on this community. It's really fun.
Well, that's it for today, and we hope that you had fun. You learned some things about adopting cats, and yeah, basically enjoyed us goofing around. So, anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
you just stay tuned for our next episode, which is gonna be about Egyptian cat worship and cats in various civilizations and how they were perceived. Plus, more furry anecdotes from everybody who sends in theirs on Instagram and more comments, maybe. So, this is your host, Vinda, and
And Tatiana.
signing off. Bye.